Greetings, travelers. I'm your host, the C-Dot that knows a lot, Dr. Waluigi. As per usual, I'm going to be talking about a Christmas movie from my childhood that my brothers, sister, and I watched a lot when we were younger. This one, however, has a very strange history behind it, as technically this isn't a Christmas movie, but I'll explain that in a moment as we take a look at how the toys saved Christmas. The film is originally an Italian film called La Fresca Azzurra that is based on a story by children's author Gianni Rodari, telling the story of how La Befana, a witch that delivers toys to the children of Italy on Epiphany Eve, which takes place on January 5th and 6th, falls ill and can't deliver the toys to the children of Italy and must rely on her assistant Scarafoni to deliver the toys. But things don't go as planned, leading up to wacky shenanigans until everything works out in the end. There wasn't anything I could find on the budget or if the movie was released to theaters, but I do know that it was sent everywhere all over the world thanks to Buena Vista. The obvious changes that we got was that instead of the mentions to the Epiphany Eve holiday were changed to Christmas, the characters' names were changed, and we even have a cameo with Santa Claus as the narrator. But we should probably get into this movie's premise before we talk about the changes that were made. The movie follows one of Santa's helpers, a woman named Granny Rose, voiced by Mary Tyler Moore, who becomes sick on Christmas Eve and can't deliver the toys she was tasked with. So the group of toys decide to leave the shop in order to look for the children they were promised to. However, her evil and greedy assistant, Mr. Grimm, voiced by Tony Randall, plans on going after the toys so that he can sell them to the highest bidder. Can the toys make it to the children that they were supposed to be sent to, or will Mr. Grimm capture them and ruin Christmas for all the children of Italy? I find the cast of the dub for this movie is another hit-or-miss cast. On the one hand, the actors they chose for Granny Rose and Mr. Grimm are pretty good for the roles they were given, as Granny Rose is a kind but strict woman who doesn't tolerate anyone messing with the kids she helps deliver the presents to. As for Mr. Grimm, he's a fun if a little corny villain that shows what happens when someone who only cares about themselves and the misery they cause for those who've been good all year. He does have a charm that makes him both threatening and silly. The rest of the cast is just passable, as honestly there are only one or two other human characters that play a big role in the story, and even then they could be cut out entirely and nothing would be lost. Most of the toy characters are also good and the actors play their roles very well, which is nice to know since most of the toys were voiced by Canadian actors that I grew up with. If I had to pick a standout character, it would probably be Jingles the dog, voiced by Sonia Ball, as she is the one toy I remember the most and was the most prominent on the VHS cover. But yeah, the cast was just serviceable, not terrible, but not that great either, which is something I feel is expected for a movie like this. As someone who hasn't watched a lot of animated Italian movies, I will say that the animation for this one is pretty good. I like how the animation looks like a children's storybook, which is something that I know very few movies are known for, but also the movie has some surprisingly good camera work as well. Not a lot of animated movies really stand out for the camera work, especially ones that are made direct to video, so it's nice to see that the animators were able to really use the animation they had to create some pretty damn good camera angles in this movie, and I commend them for that. I think one of the hardest things to judge about a movie like this is that I would only be able to call this a bad movie because of the translation issues. I found that there were a couple of moments in this movie that I feel don't really make sense and are a little odd when you watch them in this version of the movie. However, that might be due to the translation from the different versions. I will say that they're not the most distracting scenes in the movie, but they can feel jarring at times. The only other thing I will say about this movie is that it does have some pretty weak pacing. Most of the movie does feel like it's dragging its heels to the snow and feels like it takes a while to get to the end of the movie where all the toys find homes they're meant to be in. But that's honestly more of a nitpick than anything else. At the end of the day, this is a decent Christmas movie. It has the same spirit of the holiday despite not taking place on Christmas. The cast and the animation in this movie are still nostalgic to me, and I did enjoy rewatching this movie for this review. I won't say it's better than the original version, as I've never seen it, nor will I deter anyone from checking out the original version. In fact, I might check it out myself to see and compare how different the versions are. Overall, I give How the Toys Saved Christmas a 6 out of 10. It's not quite up there with the other Christmas classics, and it does have some problems in the translation of certain scenes, but I do think it deserves a look whether it be the Christmas version or the original Epiphany Eve version. Well, as always, thanks for watching. I'm Dr. Waluigi, and remember to have a safe and Merry Christmas, as well as the happiest of holidays. Good night, everyone, and see you guys in the new year.
In the night, the winds blow